My name is Gloria Darian. I'm 76 years old, a 3-time cancer survivor. We'll talk more about that later and how diet and nutrition and eating correctly, I believe, helped save my life. And I fell into the business, and I say fell in because it was an accident about 25, 26 years ago in the perimenopause, about 48, 49 years old, when I gained slowly but surely about 25, 27, 28 pounds. And all my life I had been very slim, physically active. I was in the dance business, owned a dance studio, but it didn't matter. I suddenly started to put on weight and then lost 3 pounds and then gained 5 pounds and lost 2 pounds and then gained 7 pounds. And I turned up. I went from a size 7 to a size 11. And now I suddenly became interested in how can I eat to lose this weight and never gain it back. So I went to the only place I had any confidence. I went to a medical nutritionist in Manhattan, and I became interested in the correct way to eat. I shopped and cooked my own food, which was very tough because I had done very little cooking and shopping up until that time. And I got very interested in food and nutrition and steady weight loss. It kept coming off slowly but surely. And I went for counseling never less than twice a week. And even though I was in the personnel business and I worked 50 hours a week to earn a living, I supported myself. I made the time to get to the nutrition center at least twice a week, if not more. And then I became intellectually interested in my old age, almost 49 years old, in nutrition and food. After studying about nutrition for a few months, just as a lark, just as a hobby, I became so interested in the food I was eating and actually enjoyed cooking differently. I lost all the weight, and I started to notice some of the ads in the newspapers at that time of the weight loss centers that were opening in New York. And I called up one of the companies, and I thought maybe I'd work a little part-time. And I was very successful in the business, in the personnel business. I could have had a very, very big, lucrative career. And I called up this particular company, and I started there a few hours a week, and then I quit my job in personnel, threw a big career aside. When these people moved out of New York, I called up a national company that is still very national today, and they sold prepackaged foods. But of course, they didn't make too much of the fact that you had to buy all your dairy and milk products and all of your fruits and vegetables besides buying their prepackaged food. But they were very nice to me, and I learned another element of the weight loss industry. So I was glad that I did it. And then one day, reading the newspaper, I saw that there was a doctor from out of town with an office in Manhattan where they had no pills, no injections, no prepackaged foods, nothing. Exactly the way I lost, my almost 30 pounds. And they were looking for help. They wanted to open up an office in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, and I lived very, very close. And I called them up, and I said I was interested in being a counselor. I went to work for this company, and within a month I was a manager. And with 8 years, I opened up 4 other places for them. And I learned this business of how to eat and sustain your weight from the 6 food groups. No tricks, no gimmicks, nothing to buy, nothing to sell. And I was there for them about 8, 9 years, and then I got breast cancer for the first time. And one thing I can say for sure, thank God, in all other aspects of my life, I was slim, I was healthy, I knew how to eat, and even after I got sick, I knew how to sustain my health because I knew how to eat correctly, and that helped a lot. And then it was too much for me, the hours, 50, 60 hours a week, and I had taken all the weight off a young doctor who was going into his own practice, and he had asked me for quite a while would I come in to his practice and bring my clients there. I called him up, and I left this company, and I went into my own business, and it's a good 25 years ago, it seems, 24 years ago, something like that. And that's how I started this myself. And I kept up that idea. I would not sell anything except good health and what I learned and what was done for me in my life, I would try to give to others. I stayed in this doctor's office for about 6.5 years, and he sold his practice. And another doctor who was also a client of mine, losing weight, invited me to open up my business in his office. And I moved uptown, 2 blocks away, and I went into this podiatrist's office rather. And I was there for several years, and it was my daughter Lori Boxer that runs the business now, is the director of the company, that talked me into, in the elderly age of my late 60s, of opening up my own office. And by this time already, working in this doctor's office, I had gotten cancer for the second time, uterine cancer. And again, I say, thank God I knew how to eat. That part of my life was under control and in my hands. And after that surgery and after that recovery, maybe a year or so later, my daughter Lori said, it's time for you to be on your own. And I found the beautiful place that I'm in now in Brooklyn. And while we were going under construction, I got cancer for the 3rd time. So I've had breast cancer twice, and I've had uterine cancer. And this time, I had to do chemotherapy. And it was a 9-month situation that turned into a year. I came to the office. I wasn't going to let any of my clients here off the hook. People counted on me. They knew that I was coming from a position of strength and power. And thank God that I knew how to eat, because with the chemotherapy and everything, I didn't miss a day. And I didn't get sick, and I did my thing. And my clients were wonderful. They really helped me through also. I told them if they love me and they're praying for me, they better lose 3 pounds this week. And everybody was afraid to let Gloria Darian down. So where there's a will, there's a way. And we have a beautiful, beautiful office in Brooklyn that people love to come in. And I've done everything I can, but the one thing I'm really, really proud of when I ran the business totally myself is that all of my doctors, including my oncologist, started to send people to me here. And that was something that touched my soul and touched me, that people were sick and they were coming to see me. And then pediatricians started to send people to me, and we have a lot of kids, 10 years old and up. And the public thinks that 14, 15, 16-year-old boys don't cry, but they do. And it's very sad when you see a 13, 14-year-old come in 30, 40, 50 pounds or more overweight. But I knew that I loved working with kids. When a beautiful 6-foot, 16-year-old girl came in, 100 and some pounds overweight, that lost all of the weight with me, because I told her if she doesn't come in to see me, I'm coming to her house. And then to know that when she graduated high school and college, that she became a nutritionist, and she said that I was her inspiration. And that's not the only one that did that. So we love working with children, and we have a lot of physicians that recommend people to us, especially my physicians. My breast cancer doctor recommended people here, and my primary care doctor, and my oncologist. And I'm very proud of what we've done in in the business, and I love it, but now I'm retired, and my daughter is more passionate about it, if it's possible to believe, than I am. I'd like to say to the women, young and old, that are watching the video, that if they ever had issues with breast cancer or uterine cancer or cancer of any kind, and they now have a weight problem that they had before or during or after their treatment, that I am a volunteer for the American Cancer Society, and that if you would call the Brooklyn office and ask for me to be in touch with you or to call you or for advice, encouragement, or anything having to do with your diet and the way you eat, I'd be very, very happy to help you, because I had people constantly motivating me, constantly on my case, constantly ensuring me not to give up. And I take great pleasure out of doing this now in my retirement. And if I can help anyone out there that's struggling with a weight issue because they had cancer or they have cancer now, I'd be happy to help anybody. I'd like to tell you something about our service, the people that work for us, the people we hire, and who we're looking for. First, we don't hire kids. We hired what I like to call seasoned women. We're always looking for counselors in their 40s, 50s, and older with life experiences. Then we try to hire people that have been through the program. So I would say that at all times, 6 or 7 out of 10 counselors have been on the program, have lost all of their weight, and are maintaining it. As we just did in the Brooklyn Clinic, young woman in her 50s that has lost the weight. It's got to be 10, 15 years. Her children are grown, and now she was looking for part-time work, and we hired her. The manager of the Long Island office was a slim woman when I met her, but I wouldn't start her in any capacity for the company until she went on the diet. So even though I will hire someone in good shape and in good health, they have to go on all programs, go through all aspects of the diets, of the menus, of the recipes, in order to be hired by the company. It's got to be hands-on experience. Then they can talk from a position of power when they know what they've done themselves. And we hire very loving but tough counselors, because we have, I'm happy to say, a lot of male clients. In my 25 years experience, I found that men don't like the atmosphere of dieting in a company where there's 30, 40, 50 people in a room, that a lot of men come here because they like the one-on-one closed door policy and not sitting in a large group. So that's very, very important. So I have to hire counselors that are very tough, won't let anyone get away with anything, but care so much. And almost all the counselors are mothers of teenagers themselves and understand the pain that so many children go through. And of course, we have a lot of mothers that are overweight, and because it's generational, because it's behavioral, they start coming in with their kids at 11 and 12 and 13 that are overweight also. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on television, but I go back so many years with so many of these women that come to this Brooklyn office, that many of the women now have 5, 6, 7 children, and I met them when they were 14, 15, and 16 years old when their mother brought them in. And a generation has passed, and now I see, because of the way the schools feed the children today and everything, and our kids are grabbing on the buses and grabbing here, they're bringing their children in to see me. So that always gives me a good feeling, and we do the best for this second generation. So I'm old, but I'm good.